everybody and welcome. We recently experienced an unprecedented and very long heat wave here in the north of France and throughout France and neighboring European countries even. And this is the second time since mid-May, which is very strange because usually temperatures don't get hot. And in summer temperatures here in the north of France or the Paris region where I am until mid-July. And so apart from my worries, because that's not what this video is about, I was thinking about my summer wardrobe, my handmade summer wardrobe, because most of my clothes are handmade now, and the pieces that I reached for during this period and since mid-May when the temperatures rose, because these are very different pieces from what I would reach for even 2 or 3 years ago. Since my life has changed a little bit, I'm no longer working in an office setting, I'm working mostly from home, and my style has changed a little bit in the colors and the fibers and the fits that I like to wear. And so I thought I would share those pieces with you today in different contexts, so from everyday situations to going out situations or hanging around a pool, for example, what I would reach for and wear, in case it gives you some inspiration as to different colors, fits, styling, fabrics, sewing patterns to try out if you're looking for inspiration, or even if you don't make your own clothes, which I know some of you haven't tried sewing yet. This might also inspire you, and you are very welcome here as well. So I hope that you enjoy. I have about 8 outfits to share with you today, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Sarah. I am originally from the US, but I moved to France in 2009, and that's why I talk about a little bit what it's like living in France, because it does influence what I make and what I wear. And I mostly talk about sewing on this channel, but a little bit of knitting and embroidery when I dabble. So I hope you enjoy, and welcome. The first outfit I wanted to share with you today is for everyday use, so doing some tidying around the house, working from home, going out for errands to the pharmacy or the boulangerie around the corner and buying some bread, or doing some light gardening and watering my flowers, for example. And I've been reaching for my Seamwork dress pants in this cerulean green linen, 100% linen from Sacré Coupon, as well as the Periwinkle blouse by Core Crew Patterns in this light linen and viscose blend. And I love these two together. Usually I don't always wear these two together. I wear the pants a lot more than the blouse, just because they're a lot easier to wear multiple times before washing, and depending on what I'm doing, I will pair them with a white t-shirt or my white Ogden Cami, for example. But I love pairing it with this blouse especially because I find that tucked in it looks really nice, and it sort of elevates the pants a little bit because they are a little bit more casual, especially with the front patch pockets and how bouncy and soft this linen has gotten. It has relaxed a little bit through wash and wear. And I love these two together, especially when it was hot out. I could still wear the blouse, for example, because it is so light and airy, this fabric, that it still protects my shoulders from the sun when I was walking outside, but also it let air in and there was good circulation of air whenever the wind blew. And I love this top. Unfortunately, it has been discontinued. It is no longer on offer by Core Crew Patterns. And that's unfortunate because it's a really beautiful design, and I know a lot of you agree with me because I get lots of comments asking where to get this pattern. But it was only sold as a PDF, so you can't get it now that it's discontinued. But I did find another pattern that's very similar. It is the Wardrobe by Me Cire blouse, the short sleeve version. I hope I'm saying that right. And it has a similar collar, the button-down shape, the grown-on sleeves. It does have a sort of sleeve cuff added to it, but you can leave that off, I think, if you wanted to, and then just lengthen the sleeve a little bit. And then it has the gathers into the neckline, and it's very similar. So if you're looking for something to replace the Periwinkle blouse, I think that you could use that one and get a very similar result. These pants have especially been my faithful companions since I made them last year, last July or June, I think, and I made a whole sewing vlog about making these pants if you'd like to check that out. But I have worn them in all kinds of situations. They're so versatile. I have worn them hiking in the Southern Alps in France. I have worn them biking on the Shimanami path and bridges in Japan. I have even worn them to an impromptu participation in an outside giant gigabar ballet class in Biarritz during the dance festival there last September, which was on the main promenade at the beach, the main beach of Biarritz, which was just magical. And I was even able to do the grand battement. No worries, this pants has so much flexibility and movement to it with the ease. And they have become my faithful companions. I especially love the colors, and they're getting so much more soft and comfortable with wash and wear that, I reach for them all the time, and I highly recommend both of these patterns, but especially the pants. The second outfit that is more for everyday as well, but not as versatile, as in I cannot do athletic things in it like my Seamwork Joss pants, but that I wear all the time. And it is my Helen's Closet Donovan skirt in this vintage yellow tile viscose from Fabric Godmother many years ago, and my latest Coralie Bijasson Ehola tee that I made in this off-white rib knit cotton from So Tissu not so long ago, and that I've adopted into my wardrobe very quickly and easily. This skirt is a classic in my wardrobe. I first made it in 2020 and I've been wearing it almost non-stop since in hot weather. It is just perfect. I absolutely love the print and the color. I wasn't so sure about the print before because it is a little bit vintage, as in like a 70s, almost paisley flower pattern, but it does. I find that it's not too warm, it's not too bright. It goes with a lot of pieces. It goes with gray, white, and black, so anything in those colorways, even green, and so I can wear it with a lot of my wardrobe, and it has sort of shifted my wardrobe away from so much blue into a little bit more green, which is interesting over the years, and I wear this all the time. I love the fit, I love how comfortable it is. It is an entirely elasticated waistband with slash pockets and side slits for movement. I love the way it swishes around my legs, and this viscose fabric is so soft. It is just so comfortable. Even when it's really hot, I don't get angry at this fabric touching my skin. And this Ehola tee is something that I have quickly adopted as something that I wear very often since I made it this spring, because I just absolutely love this balletic neckline, and then I find that the combination of this shape and then this rib knit fabric is great, because the rib knit sort of gives it a little bit more texture and a little bit more elevation than just a regular cotton fabric. I love the feel of this fabric as well. It is stretchier, I think, and it has a little bit less elastic recovery than a regular cotton knit, but I especially love the way it has sort of a dry touch to it. So it's hard to explain, but I have two fabrics to show you to compare. And that is, so this is a regular cotton knit. For example, this is a Jennifer Lawrence Austera top, I think. I'll put the name below if I've gotten that wrong. And I made this a few years ago, and it is in this cotton and elastane blend knit fabric. And I find that it's just a little bit clammy. It has sort of a cool touch and clamminess to it that I don't really like, and it's very tight. So the rib knit fabric of the Ehola tee, because it is pretty stretchy, there's sort of an integrated ease, even though I made the exact same version as, or the exact same size as I made for this one. They're not the same pattern, so it's not very comparable, but I find that it's just so much more comfortable against the skin. Or this one, for example, this is another rib knit. This is the True Bias cardigan. I forget the name of that as well. Blair? No, that's a skirt. I will put it below here. And it is in this bamboo rib knit fabric that I got, I think, from Blackbird Fabrics. And here as well, it's very slinky, very stretchy, but it has an especially clammy, cold feel to it. And for some reason, I don't really like it. I don't like that feeling against my skin. And so I like looking for more dry touch cotton fabrics, and this one is one of them. It's hard to explain, and maybe I'm just very sensitive to the way fabric feels against my skin, but maybe I'm not alone. But anyway, these two together I think go really well. I think that the off-white color of the rib knit fabric is especially lovely with the sort of yellowish colors of the skirt, and I think that it does elevate a little bit as well, like add a little bit more girliness to my general wardrobe rather than a regular like v-neck or crew neck top with the balletic neckline, and it's just so comfortable and lovely. The next outfit is an everyday outfit, also for errands or going out, but a little bit more if I'm going into the city for coffee, or if I'm feeling extra girly that day and in the need of a dress and ruffles. And this is my McCall's M7947 dress that I made in this washed and slubby light blue linen from Minerva, which was gifted to me in exchange for an article on their website, which I will link below if you'd like to read all of the details about how I made this dress. And I love wearing this dress. It was a little bit more girly than my regular style when I first made it, but because of the lovely color and how voluminous and feminine it is in its softness, it feels especially comfortable even when the temperatures are high, because it does have so much volume and air to it, and then the linen immediately sort of whisks away sweat and dries really easily. So I didn't feel uncomfortable even during the heat wave. With the belt, I find that it is a lot less sack-like, but I like that the belt sort of makes it very versatile in terms of fit, as in if I lose or gain weight, this dress will fit me because it's very adjustable. I really enjoy wearing it. I think that the only thing is I did shorten the elastic in the front bodice on the two panels on the two sides to prevent gaping because it used to gape open with the regular size that I made. And now it is a little bit tight in the arm side because I think that when I made it, I adjusted the straps a little bit tighter to try and fix that, but it didn't fix it entirely and I needed to fix the elastics instead. And so now the straps are a little bit too tight and it's a little bit too tight in the arm size. So I think I will be modifying that this summer and fixing that so that it's not so tight. But otherwise, I absolutely love this dress. I especially love the buttons that I picked out for it. These are, I think, mother of pearl-esque, but not quite buttons that I picked out, and they are perhaps vintage, I can't remember. I really, really love them. I really love the sort of pearly white against this light blue, and yeah, I love this dress. During the very, very long heat wave that we experienced, so we had temperatures ranging from 105 to 110 outside in the shade in our garden that I recorded, and then around 86 degrees Fahrenheit inside in the coolest part of our house for about 10 days, and it was really, really hard because it did not get much cooler in the evening. And so yeah, without air conditioning, we were suffering, and we were using all kinds of techniques to try and keep cool, including blocking out all sunlight with our shutters during the day, during the hottest parts of the day, airing out during the night, putting fans around strategically, spritzing ourselves with water regularly, taking cold showers. But yeah, it was hard, and the clothes that I reached for were especially crucial because when I had to go out, for example, grocery shopping or going to the pharmacy, for example, I couldn't go out in my underwear like I was hanging around inside to keep as cool as possible. And what I would reach for most often was my Sew Over It Lottie dress in this double gauze cotton that I found at Sewisfaction years ago. I think I made this back in 2018, and it is this really beautiful sort of off-white base cotton with painted on sort of indigo. And I think it's a Japanese cotton, if I remember correctly, but I did buy it a long, long time ago, so I'm not entirely sure. But it does have the sort of Japanese cotton gauze quality of being very thin layers of cotton gauze versus what you usually get, which is sort of much more squishy and thick. I find that that's what makes this dress so successful, is not only the shape, because I absolutely love the shape of this dress. I've made it 3 times before, once in a cotton shirting that is smooth and very tightly woven, and then also in another Japanese cotton gauze in a Nani Iro fabric that is more pink and orange and yellow. And this one is my favorite, I think, because it has more ease with the cotton gauze than the tightly woven cotton shirting, for example. So when I sit down, it's more comfortable, or when I'm moving around in it. And then I like the colors. The colors are a bit more neutral and easier to wear than the Nani Iro cotton version. And then I absolutely love the fit and design of this pattern. So it is more of a straight skirt. It has a button-down front. It has this really lovely shaped front bodice with gathers that go into the neckline, and then bias binding that finishes both the straps and the front and back bodice edges. And then it has this extra long waist tie that you wrap twice around your waist before tying, or you don't have to use it at all, or you can belt with a regular belt if you want to. But I find that it creates a really lovely sort of detail. It's not too thin. It adds some texture, I find, to the silhouette. I love it, but I think that with this fabric it is a success because it is light, easy to move in, airy, it stays dry even when sweating during a heat wave, and so I do have plans to make it in another cotton gauze that I got from Japan, in this lighter cotton gauze sort of fabric this summer, and I hope I get to that. But yeah, I love this dress, and it was very, very helpful and useful in helping me to feel still put together when I went outside in the heat that we experienced recently. The next outfit is for going out to brunch with my friend. We like to go for brunch every month or two together, and we like to dress up for each other as well. Or not dress up, but you know, get pretty because we both enjoy talking about makeup and clothes and things like that. And it's just sort of a way for us to feel girly and have fun together. And so in the heat, the outfit that I've worn in the past few years for an occasion like this one would be, for example, my Ogden Cami in this dark blue Cupro fabric, and my Sew Over It Ruby skirt that I hacked to add more volume to the skirt last summer, and I created an entire vlog if you'd like to see how I did that, in this striped white and blue linen fabric from Fabric Godmother that is just absolutely gorgeous. This skirt is so much fun to wear. I think that the linen adds this sort of bouncy, airy quality to the outfit, and it is very voluminous, very fun to wear, but also not costumey. It doesn't feel like a vintage piece, for example. I think that the cut is pretty contemporary with a little bit of vintage sort of volume that I added to it. So I added about 7 inches of volume to each of the sides for 14 inches total. So that was 7 inches divided between the 2 side seams, I think, on the sides, but you'll have to watch that video to get all the details because they're already fading from my memory. And it's got gathers into the waistband and a flat front waistband with an elasticated waistband in the back, which makes it extra comfortable to wear and move around in. And then I also added these really special dark blue buttons that I found in Japan, in Kumamoto, during my honeymoon there. And I'm so glad I was able to use these buttons for this project because now I think about that trip every time I wear it and it's special to me. And then I could wear it with a more casual top, but when I want to dress it up a little bit, I do like to wear it with this dark blue Cupro Ogden Cami, True Bias Ogden Cami that I made a long time ago. I can't even remember where I got the fabric. This is such a great project for remnant fabrics. I didn't have enough fabric to cut out the pieces wholly, so I added a center back seam to be able to eke out this pattern from the remnant fabric that I had of this left over, and I love this. I have made many Ogden camis over the years because they are so great with remnant pieces of viscose and floaty, swingy fabrics, and I make a lot of projects out of those kinds of fabrics, but I find that the ones that I reach for are only 2 of the maybe 5 or 6 that I have, and it is because they are both solid colors, and because my summer skirts are so colorful, usually I want to pair it with a solid color on top. And then also I think that the Cupro, or my white version for example, is in a viscose polyester blend with a texture to it, and it is thicker and it's still swingy. It has enough ease to work with this pattern, but yeah, it adds some kind of texture. And so I think that the Cupro, this dark blue one, adds a texture and quality to it that elevates the outfit a bit and makes it a little bit less flat. And so I love wearing these 2 together. This is my absolute favorite Ogden cami, for example. I highly recommend making it in Cupro. It is soft and luxurious feeling. And I think the next time I go into Paris for brunch with my friend, it will be warm enough for me to flounce around in this. For an extra special occasion, for example, going out for dinner with my husband or going out in general with friends, I like to wear this dress that I'm wearing now, and it is the Allie Olson Highlands dress in this bright light coral pink fabric that I found at Mills End Fabrics in Reno when I was visiting my sister 2 summers ago, because that's where she lives. I love this pattern. I find that it is the most ingenious wrap dress that I've ever made, as in it is feminine and swingy and lovely, but it's also contemporary. You can dress it up or down depending on the fabric that you make it in, and it is just lovely. And it's also the most secure wrap pattern that I've ever worn as well. There are 2 panels in the front that wrap over each other, and it is a full wrap, as in the 2 panels attach to the side seams. You're supposed to attach it with buttons, but I modify the pattern each time to add sewn-in snaps instead because I wanted to. I was too lazy to do buttonholes. And so the wrap tie is just for decoration and for cinching in the waist if you want to. And it doesn't actually secure the wrap in place, which means that the wrap is securely in place at the side seams, and then you have side slits for movement. And I have tested this pattern in all kinds of situations. Sometimes it gets very windy in the city, especially when the wind sort of blows through the corridors of the metro, for example. And this dress keeps me covered. It might flow around my legs wildly, but I have never been exposed. And so if you are looking for a secure wrap dress that you don't have to worry about, I highly recommend this one. And it is even bra friendly, and I find not too strappy, as in I could wear it to work just fine. I love this one, but this is my absolute favorite version, I think, because of the fabric. This fabric is a really light and slubby linen. It is super comfortable. It has a beautiful movement to it. It's more relaxed than a regular linen. I think that it's got this more open weave to it that makes it a little bit more porous feeling. It doesn't have pores, but it feels a little bit more squishy and bouncy than a regular tighter woven linen. And I love it, and I especially love it because it reminds me of that trip to visit my sister and my very first visit foray into Mills End fabrics that I dream of going back to because they have beautiful fabrics. But yeah, I used to think that this color was a little bit too flashy for me, but in fact, I think that it is the perfect coral for me. I think that it is not too dark, it is not too orange, it's not too bright either, and oh, I love it. The last outfit that I wanted to share with you today is what I would wear to go swimming in the ocean, going to the beach, or to a lake, for example. And I haven't had the opportunity to wear this yet this year, but I've reached for this combination over the last 2 years, over and over again, and it is my Closet Core Patterns Sophie swimsuit in this bright coral pink and flowery fabrics together that I combined. My Closet Core Patterns Charlie Caftan that I made in this Indian block printed light cotton voile that I absolutely adore. The Sophie swimsuit I made in the bikini version, and I hacked it a little bit to make the ties removable, as in I added little fabric loops to the inside of the bust cups and then added a hook to the end of the necktie so that I can hook it in or unhook it to go swimming, or when I'm laying out and I don't want tan lines on my shoulders. And it's also more comfortable when you don't have something sort of knotted tightly at the back of your neck. It's a little bit more freeing to have no ties. And so I've done that with all of my versions, and it is much more versatile that way. And then I love using this caftan to cover up when I want to protect my shoulders at the beach, for example, from the sun, or when I want to go walk up to a cafe on the boardwalk of the beach and sit out on the terrace without feeling exposed, or even have lunch during the day at the beach or at the lake. I feel covered and pretty. And it doesn't matter if I'm a little covered in sand or a little bit wet still. It doesn't look too informal. I love this fabric. This is the same fabric as my Seamwork Hansi top that I made, the lined version in my Hansi top 3 ways video. I made this first out of this fabric, and the Hansi top was out of remnant fabrics from this project. And I love how it looks in this light cotton voile, especially the Indian block print of it and the pink and the little green of the leaves in the design. I think it's really, really beautiful. And you can see that it was blocked by hand, I think, because there are small differences in the pattern or in the way that the pattern is placed. It just feels even more special that way, and it feels really light and comfortable against the skin. And so I highly recommend using a light cotton voile like this one for a beach cover-up, for example, with the Charlie Caftan. So there you have it. Those are all of the outfits that I wanted to share with you today. I will link below all of the patterns that I mentioned in case you'd like to check them out as well. And let me know, what do you reach for? As in, what kind of patterns or fabrics do you reach for when it's really hot in the summertime? I am always looking for inspiration, so don't hesitate to share. If you enjoy this video, don't hesitate to like and subscribe, and share this video with anyone you think might enjoy it. And then if you'd like to contribute to this channel, you can leave a tip via my Ko-fi account that I will link below in the description, or the YouTube Super Thanks option at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. All contributions are really helpful in keeping this channel going and giving me the support I need to make this my full-time job. Which I am still working towards, and thank you so much to everyone who has contributed so far. It is so helpful and gives me so much confidence to keep going. I hope you are all doing well, and I will see you again here soon with a new video. Take care, and bye-bye.